3.0, the highest number of arrests recorded among 14 participating African countries. Authorities seized over 800 electronic devices, identified 108 victims, and uncovered losses of nearly $450,000, with $70,000 recovered. Now, the suspects are accused of running romance scams and extortion schemes using fake profiles and stolen identities to trick or blackmail victims online. In total, the continent operation led to 260 arrests, the seizure of 1,200 devices, and the crackdown or the takedown of 81 cybercrime networks, with victims around the world losing close to $2.8 million. Now, Interpol says Ghana's strong results underscore the importance of international cooperation in fighting cybercrime. Police say investigations are ongoing as they work to dismantle the networks behind these scams. Well, Richard Kumado is a fraud and security consultant. He's joining us to throw more light on the happenings. Mr. Kumado, thank you. Good evening to you. Ghana recorded the highest number of arrests in this Interpol-led crackdown. What does it tell us about the scale and evolution of cybercrime in the country?
Definitely. I think the collaboration between the National Cybersecurity Authority and the police CID has yielded fruit. I was aware of some of these investigations as far back as last year, and I think the handlers of the National Cybersecurity Authority have done a yeoman's job, and we need to praise them. If you look at my latest book on criminal behavior, corporate crime and investigation, I have dedicated about 26 pages to cybersecurity and cybercrime effects. The effect is that the latest one we are seeing with the cloning of identities, it does not just affect people individually, but it affects government agencies and it affects corporate institutions. So for me, hearing that they have been cracked down and they have been arrested, it puts the alertness at a higher level, where before they regroup again, we could have some level of sanity within the cyberspace, and we need to keep it up going.
Taking me to this question, what long-term policy or law enforcement measures should Ghana adopt to not just respond to cybercrime, but prevent it and protect digital citizens?
Now, I think we need to empower the agencies in the cybercrime space, or the cybercrime security space, or those with technicalities to investigate cybercrime activities. We also need to provide the necessary tools and the resources, particularly to the police cybersecurity authority or the police cybersecurity officers. They've done so much, but with little resources. And I will be glad Ghana government will provide the cybersecurity authority with the needed resources, and not forgetting the police officers in the front line for cybersecurity operations. Then again, I will also suggestively recommend that all institutions with cybersecurity expertise, particularly the security agencies, the BNI, the National Security Secretariat, the Army, and all other ones, will need to improve and build capacity to match up with their colleagues across the globe. Then again, agencies will have to collaborate, because ineffectiveness or inefficiency of one agency is likely to affect other agencies. And we also have a whole of October, which we have declared as a national cybercrime, cybersecurity awareness month. That is to say that all of us, together with the cybersecurity authority, who have capacity and who have built capabilities over the years, will go into the communities and grant interviews and write articles and do what we do best in terms of public awareness. Because one of the things cybersecurity criminals use is naivety, and people not playing by the rules. And I want to say that all our brothers and sisters who ply that trade or socialize on social media, it's important to live a hygienic social media lifestyle. Other than that, you can become vulnerable and you could be played upon.
Mr. Kumado, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Richard Kumado is a fraud and security consultant speaking with us. Let's do some other stories tonight.
Moving away from crime, Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku is seriously concerned about the dangerous levels of toxins found in the country's soil and food crops. Alarming levels of mercury, lead, arsenic, and other toxins were found in test samples taken from food growing yet galamsey-prone areas. The minister told Kemini Amano in this Sunday's edition of Hot Issues that there are efforts to mitigate the impacts.
If these toxic materials find their ways into the food that is produced, we are doing something that is inimical to the health of our population.
When you find the toxins in the soil, say you go to a place like Konongo, where we are told that there are very, very high mercury in the soil, you find it there, then what next? What are you able to do for the farmers?
In fact, when you find it, it means that that soil must be treated.
Okay.
You have to reduce that thing in there. It is something that is polluting the soil.
Yeah.
So you get it out. You treat the soil.
But it will be challenging for you if we continue to mine with these.
It is. As for the illegal mining, it is not a matter of being a challenge to me as a minister or to me as a citizen of this country. It is a challenge to all of us as citizens of our country, because we are polluting the environment. We are destroying the land. We are destroying our water bodies. So what future are we bequeathing to the upcoming generation? Yes, we are blessed with the gold, but we have to use proper means to harvest so that we don't destroy the entire environment.
If it is as dire as we have just, enumerated, is that not the reason, why your government should immediately declare a state of emergency in these areas, these hotspots?
In fact, personally speaking, from my personal point of view, when you declare a state of emergency, you announce that I have declared a state of emergency. What next? Will that solve the problem immediately?
What do you think?
That is just a statement. It must be followed with an action, a clear action, a clear, powerful way directed at arresting the situation. And that is what we are doing. So the last time the president engaged the media, he was very articulate, very frank on this matter, that efforts are underway. We have not exhausted our efforts, our opportunities to deal with the challenge. So let's confront the challenge, hold on, deal with the challenge. And then when at some stage we realize that we have done our best, but we are unable to contain it, then we go to that extent.
Well, to some more health concerns tonight, a team of officials from the World Health Organization and the Ghana Health Service, they've been dispatched to the Mpox disease hotspot areas to firm up interventions in curtailing the surge in cases. The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asidu-Bequin, in an exclusive interview with TV3 outlined the positives and negatives of the disease management so far.
If you look at the data now, what is happening is that there are some positives and some negatives. So there are some districts that used to have relatively high number of cases, but it's gone down. And there are some districts that have come up. So like a place like Takwa, cases has come down, while a place like Dunkwa has gotten more cases. I think the challenge now is the new cases in Dunkwa, which the region has taken it up. But let me say that DG has actually dispatched a team made up of experts from the Ghana Health Service and then WHO to look at Western region, which has been our hotspot, and then Western North. So what is we are anticipating is that the inputs of this team will help us to firm up our anticipated cohort of cases that we will vaccinate. So if you look at our data, you realize that over the past week we have recorded another death. So that brings to bear that we don't need to underrate Mpox, because if your immune system is kind of compromised, so if you have underlying comorbidity, you may have a challenge. So we want to use this opportunity to tell Ghanaians that we should not see Mpox as just a rash.
And now, the Volta River Authority has warned of growing threats of encroachment on its pipelines within the Tema metropolis. The managing director, Engineer Edward Eko Obeng Kenzo, warned that if the situation is allowed to continue, it could lead to a major disaster, potentially costing the country over 2 billion Ghana cedis.
If you say how serious is understatement, it's a national security issue. When the Tema military station was being developed, those areas were bare. So a buffer was created for the pipeline, just like the transmission line. You have a right of way. And this right of way has been encroached by people. If you look at the investment in Tema, if you take a combined cycle power plant of even 1 million per 1 megawatt, 300 megawatts is about 300 million. Astok is around 540 megawatts. So you're talking about 500 million. Okay. And you talk of a VRA facility, you talk of SEM power, you talk of the others. So you're talking of almost 2 billion investment. And if there should be any breach of that pipeline due to gas leakage and due to the activities of warders, people cooking, people selling, doing hot works around the gas pipeline, if there's any leakage, the explosion, that is what the situation is. The lines have been encroached totally. So WAPCO is even scared of increasing the pressure on the gas pipeline to bring us more gas into the country for us to use for cheaper power generation.
Moving on, sustainability has taken center stage in Accra's hospitality sector as the Mpox Ambassador Hotel officially launched its Green Stay initiative. The program seeks to reduce the hotel's environment footprint while encouraging guests to actively participate in eco-friendly practices.
The Green Stay initiative, unveiled at the Mpox Ambassador Hotel's premises, is designed to align with global efforts at promoting sustainable tourism. It focuses on energy efficiency, water conservation, waste reduction, and community engagement. The hotel is introducing measures such as paperless check-in systems, eco-friendly guest amenities, reduced plastic use, and a towel and linen reuse option to save water and energy. General Manager of Mpox Ambassador Hotel, Isaac Okpoti Ej, spoke about the reason behind the initiative.
The purpose of the Green Stay is to bring policymakers, sustainability advocates, and business practitioners in hospitality and the business world together so that we can discuss sustainable practices and how we can ensure that our businesses thrive. We believe that sustainability is not just a trend because many people believe that it's just good to be eco-certified, and based on that we get financing. But the world has moved on. A lot of organizations today only do business with companies that are sustainability compliant.
Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, Kenneth Gilbert J, highlighted Ghana's ongoing efforts at improving sustainability.
The Environmental Protection Agency Act and its regulations guide environmental management, ensuring that hotels, resorts, and related facilities comply with environmental standards. The National Building Regulations and the Ghana Building Code promote the use of energy-efficient designs, water conservation systems, and safe construction practices in hospitality infrastructure. The Tourism Act provides the Ghana Tourism Authority with a mandate to ensure that establishments operate in ways that uphold not only service quality, but also environmental responsibility.
Industry watchers say the move by Mpox sets a benchmark for our hotels in the capital to embrace greener operations as the tourism sector faces growing calls to adopt climate-conscious strategies.
You're watching News 360. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away.
Good evening. This is Business on News 360. My name is Minu Afol. Financial expert and CEO of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, has raised alarm over Ghana's unemployment situation, describing it as a generational time bomb. He says that he's warning governments against trying to create jobs for all these people directly.
The last labor report from the Ghana Statistical Service put the overall unemployment rate at 13.6% as of December 2024. This means that for every 100 people of employable age who want a job, 14 are unemployed. While the headline figure of 13.6% might not seem excessively high to some, financial expert Joe Jackson argues that the real crisis lies in what the number conceals. Per Ghana Statistical Service figures, for those aged 15 to 24 and looking for jobs, 32% are unemployed, a rate that falls to 22.5% when the age bracket is extended to 15 to 35. For employable men, 11 out of 100 are unemployed, while for women, 15 out of 100 are unemployed.
Those who have left JSS who want a job, 1/3 of them can't get a job. Those who have left SSS that want a job, 1/3 of them can't get a job. Those who have left university and want a job, 1/3 of them can't get jobs. That's a whole generation that are not getting jobs when they need and when they want to and when their energies are high. Are we then surprised that crime seems to be exploding and younger kids are looking for quick money?
He argues that government's role should be to create a conducive environment for the private sector to thrive.
Job creation should be number one on our agenda, with an important injunction. The government cannot and should not attempt to provide jobs for all these people. That's the responsibility of the private sector. What the government should do is to keep a stable, even play field so that private institutions can thrive and create the jobs that they need to. Otherwise, all that will happen will be variations of the same thing that you've done before. The government pretends to employ. The young people also pretend to work, and they pretend to get paid. And the job vanishes as soon as there's a regime change. And half the time, their payment is in huge arrears.
In a related development, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program says a strategic blend of STEM and digital skills training could help Ghana make significant progress in tackling unemployment. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, 1 in every 5 Ghanaian aged 15 to 35 is currently unemployed, a situation stakeholders have described as a ticking time bomb with implications for national security.
As Ghana confronts rising youth unemployment, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics and digital skills training are being positioned as part of the solution. These disciplines equip young people with the tools to succeed in a technology-driven economy, unlocking opportunities in software development, data analysis, renewable energy, robotics, and digital entrepreneurship. Speaking at the launch of the Digital Innovation and Vocational Employability Dive training program by the British Council, NEIP CEO Eric Ejay reaffirmed his agency's commitment to supporting initiatives aimed at reducing unemployment.
NEIP as a government institution is committed to ensuring that such skills can be translated into enterprise development, job creation, and national impact. What excites me about this program all is about its practical nature.
British Council Country Director Ni Dodu Dodu said the DIVE program goes beyond skills training with a core focus on creating meaningful employment for its 80 graduate beneficiaries.
Let me emphasize that the ultimate objective of this is jobs. And I'll be frank with you, there's a lot of training that goes on. Everywhere you pass, one person or one organization or the other is having a training for young people. And in the end, it's those who train who make money.
Moving on, Telecel Ghana has held its SME Month, a vibrant initiative aimed at empowering youth-led startups and guiding them toward greater opportunities. This year's edition themed Telecel Business Runway, Gen Z Impact, Skills, Money and Mindset, focused on educating and inspiring young Ghanaian entrepreneurs.
The event addressed the challenges faced by young business owners and offered practical solutions for growth and resilience. Technical Director at the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, Mohammed Sonny Adams, commended Telecel for the initiative. He expressed government's readiness to partner with private sector players supporting youth development.
We will create the opportunity for a great linkage between the SME and the larger industrial sector so that the people who are entering into the young people who are entering into it can take advantage. We congratulate Telecel Ghana for taking the initiative to not just organize programs but to provide support for the youth. I congratulate the youth here who have taken to themselves to establish for themselves some businesses.
Director of Enterprise Business at Telecel Ghana, Tewa Bolaring, said the project was designed to help young entrepreneurs struggling to pivot and scale their businesses.
We understood that one of the problems is, for example, today in seeking loans, a lot of the restrictions and rules around loans, commercial banks don't understand them. There's certain things that young people feel is too administratively cumbersome. And so the finance part was a part that they felt very frustrated around. If we put a program together, what would they want to learn? Obviously, they want to learn about how to promote their business, how to use digital media to promote their business. I hope they use Telecel to grow, and I hope they remain with Telecel.
Telecel Ghana also invited successful entrepreneurs to share insights and strategies with startups on overcoming challenges and achieving sustainable growth.
We'll end the segment with updates from the forex and commodities markets. I am Minu Aful.
Segment is brought to you by
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ished. Now, Accra Hearts of Folk topped the Ghana Premier League table for the first time in the 2025-26 season after recording their first home victory at the Accra Sports Stadium against 11 Wonders FC. Enoch Esubontain latched onto a loose ball from a corner kick in the 18th minute after the Phobians posed incessant pressure on the Travellers. The Phobians are now 1 point adrift Midiama and Heart of Lions, who have 6 points each despite playing one game more. The Dramani's side remain unbeaten in the competition this season alongside 8 other teams. Let's move on to some other stories where the Ghana Under-17 team, the Black Starlets, are through to the semi-final of the WAFU Zone B Under-17 Cup of Nations following a dramatic victory over Niger in Abidjan. Lead goals from Kagawa Mensah and Robinho Yalgavi sealed a 3-1 victory for the Black Starlets. Ghana had to bounce back from a 3-0 defeat to Ivory Coast in their second group game to keep their quest of qualifying for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations alive. Ghana will await their next opponents after the final round of games in Group B. Let's move on to boxing, where the National Sports Authority has suspended all boxing activities in Ghana following the tragic death of Ghanaian boxer Ernest Akushe, popularly known as Bahubali. The NSA announced that investigations have begun to determine the circumstances that led to the pugilist's passing. Bahubali died 11 days after his fight with Jacob Dixon at the Bukum Boxing Arena on September 12, where he was stopped in the 8th round. There's more in this report by 3 Sports. Authority has announced the suspension of all boxing activities following the death of Ernest Akushe, popularly known as Bahubali, who passed away at the Lekma Hospital in the early hours of September 24th due to illness. Akushe, a man in his early 30s, lost via technical knockout in the 8th round of a super middleweight contest against Jacob Dixon, suffering what many described as a beatdown in mid-September at the Bukum Boxing Arena. This untimely demise is the second boxing-related death in Ghana this year. Nigerian boxer Gabriel Oluwasegun Olarewaju passed on hours after his bout at the Bukum Boxing Arena in March. In the statement, the NSA said, quote, "It is worth noting that prior to this unfortunate incident, the NSA and the ministry, together with key stakeholders in the boxing fraternity, had concluded preparations to implement the recommendations of the Ministerial Committee on Boxing. These include a comprehensive 5-year safety and development plan anchored by the establishment of a 9-member interim management committee to oversee the affairs of the sport," end quote. The NSA added, quote, "The reforms are designed to strengthen medical, technical and regulatory procedures, ensuring that when boxing returns, it will operate under safer, more professional and globally aligned standards," end quote. The boxing fraternity awaits the next steps as they mourn one of their own. Moving on to our final story, Ghana's representative at the 2025 FISU, that's International University Sports Federation University Games Football Competition. The University of Development Studies have qualified to compete in the final. The UDS beat University of Granada 5-4 on penalties to progress to the finals of the competition that is taking place in Dalian, China, after their tough contest ended in a goalless draw. Granada beat the University of Split from Croatia in the quarter-finals. UDS will take on Brazil's Paulista University on Sunday, September 28th at 3:30 p.m. Ghana time after Paulista University beat Morocco's Chouaib Doukali 5-3 on penalties after their entertaining game ended 3-3. UDS is aiming at becoming the first Ghanaian outfit to win the competition. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the Black Star International Film Festival kicked off its 10th anniversary on September 24 at Untamed Empire in Accra, celebrating with film screenings and music. Now, founder Juliet Asante highlighted the festival's growth, noting entries from 127 countries this year. Now, new partnerships were announced, including deals with Majestic Cinema from Ivory Coast, Samikatan, Africa's top dubbing company, and Nigeria's NAL Group to boost distribution and accessibility across English and French-speaking Africa. Now, the festival opened with sweet palm wine and will close with Nigeria's Sun off the soil. Celebrations continue through Sunday, inviting the public to join in. And it's now time for some tidbits around the world.
Ghanaian dancehall icon Shatta Wale has officially granted Raftown Records and singer Wendy Shay full rights and royalties to their hit songs Stevie Wonder and HIT Haters in Tears. The news was confirmed by Wendy Shay via a post on X where she expressed heartfelt appreciation for the gesture. Both tracks quickly became fan favorites upon release, solidifying Wendy Shay's status as a leading female artist in Ghana, while highlighting Shatta Wale's influence and collaborative strength. By relinquishing his share of the production rights and royalties, Shatta Wale has enabled Wendy Shay and her label to enjoy full commercial control and benefits from the two chart toppers.
There's another one for the motherland.
Spotify has released its list for the top 5 female Afrobeat artists over the past year, with Nigerian Era Star taking the top spot. She was followed by Tems, Libyanka, Aya Nakamura, and Darko. Surprisingly, South Africa's Tyler did not make the list despite her global success. Spotify noted the rankings reflect the increasing global popularity of Afrobeats, especially across Europe and the Americas.
And so do make sure to stay tuned on TV3 for the amazing programs we have for you this weekend, starting tonight with Showbiz 360 with Giovanni Caleb, which happens to start at 8 p.m. So please do make a date with us. And that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
International news is next.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has attacked the recognition of a Palestinian state by multiple Western countries during a combative speech at the UN General Assembly. Netanyahu labeled the recognition moves a mark of shame that sends the message murdering Jews pays off. Dozens of officials and diplomats staged a walkout as he took to the podium, leaving large parts of the conference hall empty. Outside, protesters against Israel's war in Gaza gathered in the Times Square. Israel has come under huge international pressure over its military action in Gaza, culminating in the UK, France, Canada, Australia, and other countries recognizing the state of Palestine this week. At least 100 people are feared dead following the collapse of a gold mining pit in Nigeria's Zamfara state. Illegal mining is common in Zamfara, where armed gangs often control gold fields, fueling violence and deadly accidents. The pits at the Kadauri mining site in the Maru local government area caved in on Thursday while scores of artisanal miners were working underground. Botswana's President Dumo Boko says his country will establish a citizenship by investment program as a Southern African country looks to diversify its economy away from its largest export, diamonds.
There's always more news on our website, 3news.com, but that's how we wrap up on tonight's edition of News 360. I am Noble Crosby-Annan.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu-Hali. Showbiz 360 is up next. Enjoy. Good night. Bye.
got my day bill. Straightforward, I no get to kill. Yeah, yo, go say bill. 247 me a day, yo. You know strong, make you do for day, yo. Mungo na ori me day, yo. Can't bill, Moduro, can't bill. Oti beti, moti sale, I've been active, I jam me side,